Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To keep this podcast free, we're partnering with Stoke Seeds. Indoor seed starting is fun, easy, and economical. Now's the time to start your seeds. If you're looking to grow vegetable variety or add a punch of color to your flower garden, review the Stoke Seeds Starting Guide online. You'll find information about soil preparation, moisture, temperature, light, transplanting, and more. The Stoke Seeds website is a complete resource center you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Get growing with Stokes. Now, today's question. As the one commercial mentioned, time to get the seeds going.
That's right. You know, if you've been out shopping the seed racks in the stores, you can find some fascinating varieties that you can start at home that if you have been buying plants, you may not find on the shelf in a garden center, but you can find them in a seed packet. And you want to get some plastic trays to start your seeds, or pots, and some good potting soil. There are a number of brands out there that you can choose from. ProMix makes a great seed starting soil. And moisten that down and put your seeds in it, and put the seeds somewhere where the temperature is going to be about 70 degrees. Now, one thing that you want to be careful of is the length of time for germination, because different plants have different times, and those should all be noted on the back of the seed packet. And you want to back up that many days or weeks from the time that you might want to plant those seeds outside to start them. So, for instance, tomato plants are a big item that people grow from seed. We have to be a little careful on when you start them, because tomato seed germinate pretty fast. Uh-huh. And when it's in a warm spot, then they want to grow up really tall. And if you don't do something about that, they tend to want to flop over and lay down. So to germinate tomato seed, you'd like it nice and warm until the seed come out of the ground, and then you want to cut the temperature back on them to maybe around 60 degrees if you can. Uh-huh. And that'll slow the rate of growth down and develop the size of the stem so that it becomes a much hardier, much sturdier stem. Tomato seed, you probably don't want to start until late in March or early in April. Because you can't plant them out here in central Ohio until probably mid-May to avoid the frost. But some items like peppers, for instance, take a lot longer to germinate, and you'd probably be wanting to sow your pepper seed now so that it would be ready by the middle of May.
Yeah.
But different flower seeds, you can start those at different times depending on what it tells you on the back of the package. Use a good potting soil. You don't want to use a heavy soil like you'd get out of your yard. You want to use a good, well-drained potting soil, and you can start those in a plastic tray or pots. Put them in a sunny window. They definitely want some good sun, and keep the bottom temperature warm to get the seed germinated.
Mm-hmm. And some of the colder crops?
Colder crops, a lot of people will go outside and build what we call a cold frame, maybe a raised planter bed with a cover on the top. The cover, I've seen the covers in cold frames made out of old windows, I've seen it made out of plastic pipe hoop with plastic over top of it. Anything that'll allow the sun to generate some heat in there in the daytime. And, again, a good quality soil in that raised planter. Now, one thing you got to remember is if you get up in the morning and it's going to be a bright sunny day like it is today, you may have to go out there and open up the end of the cold frame because it'll get too warm in there. It's amazing how the solar power will heat up a cold frame or a greenhouse, even when it's cold outside. It might be 30 degrees outside, but inside of a cold frame on a sunny day, it might be 80 or 90 degrees. So you just have to watch that when you're growing outside in a cold frame. And you can, you could be planting cabbage seed, cauliflower, broccoli, all the cold crops. You could plant those now. Pansies, those should be planted now. So
you get those going. If you've got a little cabin fever, now's the time to get that going.
That's right.
Thanks again for listening to the podcast. Remember, lose the winter blues and garden indoors. Start your indoor seeding with the help of Stokes Gardening Guide, plus their online articles. For the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to stokeseeds.com. Catalogs are still available. Cultivating successful growers for generations.